My name is Sam Kamau. I'm a store manager at Sarit Center, Good Life. Today I want to talk about eczema and acne. Those two conditions, most people sometimes they don't differentiate them, especially when the eczema is starting. So for eczema, it's caused by allergies in the body, and acne is caused by clogged skin. For eczema, it affects people or babies from a very young age, though it's not only for young or for babies. Sometimes it can affect adults, especially on the face. And then acne is more prone to teenagers or adolescents, but it can also be affecting people who are more mature. The eczema mostly is caused by dead skin or cells over production of cells, while acne is caused by skin clogging, mostly from the sebum and the dead skin on the surface. So when the skin is clogged or the pores are clogged, sebum and the dead skin mixed or interact, and then they cause the clogging of the skin. Then there is eczema. Eczema due to dryness, mostly it's characterized by dryness, the skin, and also the skin is very reactive to most of the products. Both conditions can be treated by a single or one ingredient, which is salicylic acid, because it helps in exfoliating the two conditions. At Good Life Sarit, we have a skincare analyzing machine that can guide you on the products that you can use for the two conditions and other conditions that we have for the skin. And also, at Good Life's stores countrywide, we have products that can help with the two conditions or any other condition of the skin.
Hello and welcome to Health and Wellness. My name is Zaitun Ali and we are coming to you from the Fairview Hotel right here at Bishop Road, Upper Hill. And this is courtesy of Good Life Pharmacies. And today, the episode we're talking about is eczema. So eczema is a skin condition that actually causes dry and itchy patches on the skin. That also causes a disruption on the skin barrier. And on set, I have Dr. Penina Kitili, who is a dermatologist and also a pediatrician. She'll help us understand this better. We also have Samuel Mwangi from Good Life Pharmacy, and he's a skin consultant as well. And also we have Leonard. Leonard is one of the patients who has experienced eczema, and he will be sharing his experience on this. And at the second part of the show, we always have our audience who we will be able to interact with. They'll share their experiences and also have a chance to talk to the experts on this other side. So welcome to the show. And I want to start with you, Daktari. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Let us know what is eczema really and how do we actually diagnose it?
Eczema, per se, is not one disease. Meaning, there are different types of eczema. We have the eczemas which are inborn, meaning genetic, and we know that is what keeps the parents on their toes and driving when in the night when the baby is crying because of the itch. Then there are other types of eczemas which are caused by things from the external, in the environment. To give the medical terminology, we call the inborn types as endogenous, and the ones caused by something in the environment, we call them exogenous. And due to the fact that we have many parents with the children who have eczema, people talk of eczema as if it is just one disease. But just as I've said, they are many. When you get to the atopic eczema, we are talking much more of patients whose skin barrier has an issue dictated from the genes. And the The problem with the skin as a barrier is some of the proteins that do not allow the skin to remain healthy, like mine and anybody else who has no eczema. The ones who have that issue is just some molecules on the skin which are abnormal. The issue is actually in the skin, and itchiness is the main thing that will make you say this person has eczema, whether child or not. Meaning, all eczemas itch. Without itch, you can't call it eczema. So, inflammation, some reaction on the skin because of the skin barrier being abnormal in the inborn type. Exogenous types, one reacts with something which is in the environment. For example, reacting to your watch, whereby it will just be where the watch is touching your skin. Reaction to earrings, reaction to necklaces, shoes, some of those materials.
Yeah.
Where one is sensitive about them. And of course, also the sensitivity is not in everybody. We have sensitivity in some few, not many people.
But they say,
just one word, one sentence. When you hear somebody talk of eczema, and probably the same person or the one next to him or her talks of dermatitis, those two words are interchangeable. Dermatitis is just more specific, telling you there's inflammation in the skin.
And they see from a research that almost 60% of people worldwide acquire it when they are infants. So why is this the case?
Researches were done, and it was found that eczema, the inborn type, occurs from early age.
Okay.
You'll hear mother, father tell you this child started with eczema just even before we were discharged from the hospital after delivery. Yeah. Some it appears later. And being genetic and through research, that is what was found.
Okay.
Whereby the researchers came to a point of telling us the inborn type of eczema occurs, majority get it from month 3 up to month 6. So 3 months or 6 months, that is where you'll find your peak.
Let me engage you, Leonard. For you, when did it begin? When was it diagnosed?
Actually, I didn't know it was eczema because I was an adult. That was in 2015. I realized I was just along Mombasa Road, and I realized some 3 patches, small pimples that, they appear like small continuous pimples, but very tiny. So I decided to go to the next chemist, but that attendant seemed to know. He told me this is eczema. I didn't know what eczema. For some time it disappeared. Then it started coming all over, especially over the hands, the face, the neck, and the joints. So when I went to hospital, they booked me for a dermatologist. So when I met the dermatologist there, say this is atopic dermatitis. Now from there, it has been a long journey. I've gone to almost all hospitals. It comes and goes. I went up to the skin specialist in Alupe down in Busia there. I've gone to Nairobi Hospital. I've seen, I think she's the only one whom I've not seen.
You are the only one happening right now, maybe.
You are the only one whom I've not seen.
You can have a solution.
I've seen quite a number of doctors. But the thing is, they told me eczema is like hunger, meaning it has no treatment. You just have to bear with it. So that's what I've gone through. But the basics of it is that, perhaps we shall come back to it later. The basics of it is that it has a lot of effect on the person as a patient, both as a family, a society. You lose friends and such like people. Because naturally, people know that when you go to hospital and you have a rash or skin condition, people always associate it with HIV. So all these hospitals have gone, you have to go through HIV test.
For how long have you had it?
7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
Oh, so for yours, it was acquired in adulthood.
Yes.
Okay.
So people avoid you. They think it is contagious. Others tell you, why don't you just start taking the drugs? We know you are positive.
Yeah.
Now this has an
Society.
effect, societal stigmatization of the disease
Yeah.
is a big problem. However,
Yeah.
it reached a point where it was very serious. I could not even eat. I could not take tea. I was scratching everywhere. Also, when I went to another hospital, I was put on steroids. But when I was put on it, at least after 2 days, everything disappeared. I was using it for like twice a year. It came almost 3 months. It reached 1 month, and then the doctor said you cannot continue because the effects of Diprofos are very bad. They say it can cause heart attack,
Okay.
has complications with diabetes. So far, currently I'm not just using moisturizer, specific bathing soaps. What I've not been keen on that they talk about is lifestyle. So far, they have told me not to eat everything. Don't eat fish, don't eat meat, don't eat chicken,
Yeah.
don't eat,
Because of-
don't take milk, don't take bread.
Yeah.
So what should I take?
Samuel, we have to engage you on this one. You've had such a case, and maybe you can advise him
Yes,
on the risk factors and everything.
We've been getting this
Yeah.
a lot, by the way. And since I've been doing this since 2008, I've met so many people, especially babies.
Yeah.
But now, even my own sister got her eczema when she was an adult.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a condition that I have seen. And mostly for us as a skincare advisors in the pharmacies, we work with the doctors because they will understand the eczema more from the medical point.
Yes.
But now, when you're treating eczema, you cannot treat on medical only. So for us, when we get such cases, mostly we advise on dermacosmetics. So these are treatments that you can sell from. You don't have to have a prescription.
Okay.
Yes.
Over the counter.
Yes, over the counter. Yes. Yes. Most of them, in fact, for those, they're for maintaining, because after using the medical creams or mix the ones that the doctor will give, they will need to use something at home after some time, because you cannot use medical creams all through.
Okay.
Yes.
And Daktari, maybe he's mentioned about how he was told do not eat fish, meat. So is eczema related to allergies, especially food allergies, and how do we deal with this?
We talked about the creams, isn't it?
He did.
Yeah, maybe I'll add something on top of what he has said, that patients with eczema, at whatever age, their skins are naturally dry. That is documented. And going by science, people who have dry skin, they don't do well on creams and lotions. Okay, so there are some which have already been mentioned, and personally, there are many times I want to go by the science. Then there's scientific one which makes skins of eczema patients get well moisturized, and those which have the texture of petroleum jelly products. Okay, we call them ointments. Those would work very well for any patient with eczema any day. I can assure you that. And well, there are many other, generally they are called moisturizers.
Yeah.
There are many of them, and it's a doctor who chooses what the advice they give to the patient who is in front of them, depending on how the skin looks like. We don't have one which would say that is so for eczema. No. Then you asked about food.
Yes.
Food, very interestingly, Those many, many years ago, I don't know whether I was born, but I think I was. People used to talk of doctors now in training or wherever. They would say, avoid all the C's. You have come across it?
Yes.
And the C here, we are talking of chocolates, which are the other, citrus fruits, which is the other. There are 5 of them. It came a time when people noticed no. So we stopped really going by them. And when it comes to a topic eczema, the cause is not food. The cause is the genes. So anybody telling you don't eat fish, or maybe put another way, I've been taught not to take any dairy products. I've told not to take anything with wheat. I've been told not to take red meat. They don't hold water because scientifically it is not something proven. And therefore, telling a patient that is just putting them in another state of what? Of
Despair.
Anger. And you have somebody, a baby there, who is screaming because they are angry.
Yeah.
That is because they've been denied some things without scientific basis. Yeah, so food, no. If anybody reacts or any child reacts to anything, that is their own. It is not a blanket of everybody reacts to this.
Okay.
The biggest problem we have had, and I discovered it is worldwide, is the thing to do with proteins.
Okay.
Everybody talks of proteins. I had a child who came to my office in Nairobi Hospital. Child has eczema and has been stopped from eating all proteins for 7 months. By the time the child came to me, it was an infant, maybe 1 year, between 1.5 years and 2 years.
Yeah.
The child was simply seated, quiet, and you know that age they run all over. When we got into management of this patient, the number one thing to do was start all proteins again. And there are times we would say, start one at a time, so that in case there is any reaction, you'll be able to tell which one, if at all. Okay?
Yeah.
This child, after a few months of taking proteins normally, the child was running all over my clinic. And they never came back because the child was well.
Okay.
So there was no need for follow-up. The child became okay.
Samuel, you can touch on the risk factors of eczema, how they come along. Is it about maybe the allergies? Is it what actually brings about the risk factors?
Okay, as in fact that Harry mentioned about the risk a bit, one of the things that happens when you have eczema is itchiness. The skin becomes very itchy and very rough and dry. So most of the time people tend to hydrate it.
Okay.
Yes? Try to get things that are hydrating, but you're not treating. When you're hydrating it only without treating, you're not treating it, or you're just lessening the effect of itchiness. So as she said, most products with paraffin and others with urea, they tend to help also with eczema. They calm it down. Yeah, and some of the products you'll find them having chamomile or oatmeal. Oatmeal is very good exfoliator because this skin is flaky and dry. So something to exfoliate the skin will help. But now the risk factor is mostly itchiness. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So we want to take a short commercial break, and we are coming back with more on eczema, and we want to know, us who've been self-prescribing, what is really the appropriate treatment method for this. And we'll also be able to engage the audience, and they'll have their questions asked to the experts as well. So stay tuned, don't go too far, we're coming back soon. Welcome back, and if you just join us, this is Health and Wellness, and my name is Zaitun Ali, and we've been talking about eczema. So before the break, we were talking about the most common type of eczema. This is the atopic dermatitis. We've also talked about the risk factors, the triggers, and even the causes. So right now, we want to continue with the conversation. Remember, this is the part that we are involving our audience interactively. Karibuni sana. And if you have any questions, 22151 is our SMS line. You can also send in your requests and questions at our social media handles at KTN Home, at Ali_Zaitun, and let us know what you think about the show. And Daktari wako hapa, all the experts, and they will get to answer. So before we jump into the audience segment, so I'd like maybe to start with you, Leonard, and ask, you mentioned it was 7 years that you've had eczema. So how has it affected you mentally and perhaps psychologically?
Now, eczema has a lot of effect on a person and the environment. One is you will get affected socially because you cannot continue with the life that you used to be. You will not go to places you've been going because of stigma. Number two, your friends, most of your friends will not understand you, and they may not even want to sit with you. It affects you because I cannot be able to walk in the outside, especially when the reaction is high, because of the heat. When you sweat, you continue scratching. And you not scratch now, you have gone public. Like right now, if I start scratching all over, even this interview will not continue.
Do you feel like scratching?
I'm maintaining. I'm managing. Before coming here,
Yes.
I've taken what he'll talk about. I've taken antihistamine, which deals with reducing scratching. I would be scratching now. It affects you. I've talked about socially. It will also affect you financially. Because if you cannot go about your business as usual, then you will not be financially able.
True.
And the medication is very expensive. Like if you go to hospital, at once you cannot spend less than 10,000. And it affects you because you cannot go and work the way you've been working. The itching itself causes stress. And you see, if you read about eczema, perhaps the doctor will talk about it, stress is a factor that also leads to eczema. Because apart from the genetic involvement, we have the environmental environment. I think she talked about it.
Yes.
So, if you are stressful, you cannot perform. Another thing is, I've talked social, economic, then we can come to eczema is always with you wherever you go. And until you realize that you have eczema, you'll always be guessing. What is this type of? You go to this doctor says this. You go to this, he says this. So, but now for me, when it reaches at a point when you realize now it's eczema, you will now settle down and know what you are dealing with. So it has to affect you from the initial stage for a long time before you discover that eczema. Because even if you tell people around you that I'm suffering from eczema, people don't know what's eczema. Very few people know what's eczema. That's a jargon. It has no Kiswahili word. So you cannot explain to a common person that you are suffering from eczema.
Does it have a Swahili word? That's an assignment for you viewers. Let us know.
It is an area which needs a lot of discussion, needs a lot of enlightenment and a lot of involving the community, the hospital. They talk about it because it is a new thing.
And Daktari, also, I think atopic dermatitis is also connected to asthma in a way. There's asthma, there's the hay fever. How does this connection come in?
Normally, eczema, atopic type, it's inherited within a family tree. There's a set of 4 diseases. So you have the skin eczema, you have asthma, you have mentioned hay fever. For those who don't know, hay fever is a form of allergy where some people feel itchy in the throat, the ears, the nose, sometimes the eyes. Yeah, that is hay fever. The other one is allergic rhinitis. There are some people also who wake up in the morning and it's like they have an alarm is telling everybody so and so has woken up because they are sneezing, they are congested, but it goes away after some time without even medication. So that is allergic rhinitis, like in the morning when it's a bit cold. Some people get it even when they go to a place that is dusty. So those are the 4 diseases we look for when we are also making the diagnosis of eczema.
Okay.
It's good that there is no one person who gets all of them.
Leonard,
If they do,
have you ever gotten it?
One of my children is suffering from the last that you mentioned.
allergic rhinitis.
Yeah,
Allergy in the morning.
yeah, sneezing throughout
Okay.
without even medication. It goes away.
Okay.
So I haven't come across anybody who has the 4 of them, and it's not me alone. Ask the dermatologist. I'm including all of them. We don't see the 4 of them in one person. You may see 2 of them. If you see 3, then that is a rare one. However, it doesn't mean that everybody in the family or in that family tree gets these diseases, the 4 of them. There are people who are totally okay. They are not affected by any of the 4. And then finally, it can even skip a generation. Such that for us to make a diagnosis, we will not rely on the generation before this patient we are seeing.
Or after.
Yeah, and then that is the time we go by the symptoms of what this particular patient has. Symptoms here, we are talking about the itchiness. He mentioned about locations. Which part gets eczema? He gets his eczema. So in the newborn, in the first 1 year, it just tends to be on the cheeks. From the cheeks, it may move to the external parts of the body. Later in life, it ends up being in these areas. So there are some areas behind the knees as well. There are some areas when you see a rash, itchy, you are sure that you are dealing with atopic eczema.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the locations. And those are the other diseases associated with it.
Thank you so much for that. And Samuel, pale kwenye mtandao, we get so many advices from people. Sijui, soap, rice soap, what and what. Maybe just explain to us the best and the correct treatment that we can look for when we are coming maybe to you over the counter.
Okay.
Yes.
So most people go to online. They are told to use soaps like papaya, rice soap, as you've said. But mostly what they should be looking for is a soap that is not fragranced. Because fragrance is one of the things that can trigger eczema. Yes. But also there is those myths that people believe in. And they'll say, you got eczema from food like you ate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is a difference between the causes and the triggers. So there are sometimes the food can trigger, but they cannot cause.
Okay.
Yeah, as the study said, mostly it's genetic. Yes, but there is those myths that people believe that when you have eczema, maybe you ate eggs, or you drink a lot of milk. Yes. So mostly the products that work, especially dermacosmetics, they are those products that don't have fragrance or scents. Yeah, in this case.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that is well understood. Let me move to the audience, and I can see you already have a mic. Just let us know your name and the question that you have.
My name is Rachel Ogola. I'm the chairperson of the Eczema Society of Kenya. Mine is more of a comment, not really a question. Or part of what we do is creating awareness of eczema. And eczema comes with a lot. Like the speaker said, there are so many myths associated with eczema. We try as much as possible to demystify the myths, especially the one that eczema is witchcraft. Eczema is, you can transmit it to another. So we create as much advocacy as we can, and we also provide a platform where our patients can share ideas and information.
Okay.
We link our needy patients to doctors, and also we work with friendly pharmaceutical companies to help our needy patients, because as you know, medication is very expensive. Affordability is a problem, just like Leonard has said. So many patients cannot afford treatment, cannot afford even the medication. Then again, the main problem we have in Kenya is we have very few dermatologists. Dr. Ari will agree with me that we have only around 30 registered dermatologists against a population of 55 million. So you can imagine accessibility to treatment is a problem. Yeah, and some of the issues that are not very much addressed in the area of dermatology, again, is mental wellness. We have in-house counselors, including Tindi, who is here today with us, the lady seated in front of me.
Karibu.
She's a volunteer counselor on full-time basis for people struggling with eczema. And that is the one thing we really try to address. This year, the theme for this year was mental wellness and eczema, how eczema is impacting mental wellness. And a lot came out. The children who've attempted suicide, there are people who've been totally isolated from their families, like Leonard is saying. He's just not saying a lot, but he has, we have shared a lot. There's a lot that happens out there with people, and those are things that really need to be spoken about. Yeah. And of course, education of eczema to the community is important, because there's very little information still.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for that. Very insightful. You have a question?
Yes. Okay, my name is Janet Tindi, and I work with Eczema Society of Kenya as a community health worker and also a counseling psychologist. The question I have is to Dr. Penina. This question goes to you. I found there is what we call it? Patients with eczema, after taking steroids, when they stop, there are these withdrawal, what do we call them? Withdrawal something, because of the withdrawal symptoms from taking the steroids. And they really have bad flare-ups. And sometimes it's very expensive for them. Like I have so many patients outside there who, after taking the steroids, I don't know if they are taking the right things, but after taking them, when they stop using them, they have very bad flare-ups. What could be happening to them, and what can they do about that?
Thank you, Tindi, for that question. Dr. Ari?
Steroids are the main treatment modalities worldwide. That is the major thing that we use worldwide. And therefore comes now the strengths. Depending on how the skin looks like, that very time the doctor is seeing the patient, you are able to choose which strength to give the patient. If you are picked something which is a bit high, it has to be used over a limited period, which is given by the doctor. And then next time, if it is still, if it is well controlled, you move down. If possible, the aim is to get to the weakest. The weakest of these steroids actually is almost like a moisturizer. Yeah? So there are those very mild ones, which we use even in babies in nursery, or even preterms. So there are those very safe for all ages. That's how we do it. The other thing known about eczema is the fact that it just swings. Yeah? Reputable literature tells you it waxes and wanes. Those are the wordings. And therefore, when it starts and you start getting now the itchiness, the particular doctor would choose and then decide what to do.
Thank you so much. Any other person with a question? Okay, thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
My name is Lina. I'm the founder of Skin Foundation Africa. I'm a survivor of eczema and topical steroids withdrawal symptoms, where my eczema started when I was a child and it cleared last year. As you can see, my skin is clear. I used steroids for 4 years. I decided to stop using the steroids when I felt like I'm a slave to the steroids. But then the withdrawal symptoms get really worse after you've withdrawn from the steroids. So what really helped me was cleaning my gut, and currently I'm also producing soaps which also help with my skin.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That's a good one. Have you gone through the same as she's talking about, Leonard?
You know, outside there are so many
I know.
things they even in a matatu.
What works for you?
It has not worked for me because I'm still having the problem.
Okay.
Perhaps what she used, she'll
You can try it.
later.
Thank you so much for that.
Just a comment about ages and eczema. I can't remember, you said yours started how long ago?
When I was born.
When you were born. And they started
Later
when
on
you
as an
were
adult.
In 40s, in the 40s.
40s. It is also well documented
Okay.
that patients who develop atopic eczema after age 20 years, theirs is very stubborn in treatment. So that's why I was saying I will mention something about ages. Yeah. After 20, it is very stubborn, difficult to control.
Okay, so allow me to take one more question as we wind up. Thank you so much. There's a hand there.
So my name is Catherine. My eczema started when I was in high school, but it has gotten better when I've grown. But my question is to Daktari. Is it associated with hormonal? Because sometimes you realize when it's that time of the month, before now that time of the month, that's when it flares up. So are there preventive measures?
That's a good question. Thank you so much. Daktari?
Eczema and skin care. There's nothing so much unusual about the skin care of a patient with eczema, because skin care to us, doctors and sons, is soap and water. What does the soap do? The soap gets into contact with the molecules which are on the fat. Usually this kid, even before we oil it, it has its natural little oiliness.
Yeah.
So the compounds in the soap react with the oil, and that oil is the one which is hampering the soil or whatever dust of whichever kind. So soap and water is good enough. Skin care, no more. Not going to these many things.
Yeah.
Of course, you will agree with me, there are some soaps which do not dry the skin a lot. And those are the ones we tend to use on patients with the eczema. And then, of course, then it comes moisturization. Moisturization is so key. Without moisturization, a patient with atopic eczema can't survive. It can be rough.
And like she mentioned, is it hormonal?
No, it has nothing to do with hormones.
Yeah.
Totally. It is also, eczema also disappeared. It is purely the genes that dictate that process.
Okay.
It is not any doctor. It is the genes, which we can't change.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for all the questions. and the words of wisdom from you guys. We really appreciate it. All the treatment methods that we've also mentioned here, you can find them at the Good Life Pharmacy as well. Samuel, wakikuja kukutafuta, prescribe the best to them, okay? Thank you so much, Daktari, for your wisdom and everything and the insights that you've given unto us on eczema. Leonard, thank you for sharing your story. So, Daktari, let me know where we can find you, where the viewers can find you as well.
Yeah, as I had said before, I'm in Nairobi Hospital, where I'm running my private practice, Doctor's Plaza. And now that this is the era of virtual many
digital
things,
era.
digital era. I actually have some patients either in the UK, where I have a number of patients in other places whom I treat online. You would reach me through my phone number, and then we organize.
You can say it, we'll just attach it.
0722 526 904.
Thank you. Somewhere where can we find you?
Okay. I'm at Sadit Center, Good Life. The shop is at the lower ground floor. But also online, we do a lot of, in fact, the online platforms, including deliveries, wherever you are. Yes. And mostly you can get us from the website of Good Life. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Leonard, what wakupate wapi?
I can give my number.
And maybe you can give a word or two to someone who's watching and is going through the same conditions.
What I can say is, like Rachel said, there are so many myths outside there. So people who are having eczema, they should not believe in the myths. This is a normal condition that is affecting people. And if you follow it positively, there is nothing bad about it. As much as we have not gotten medication, but you can manage it if you go through the right ways. If you are not able to afford normal treatment through hospitals, Good Life is here, and many other places where you can afford some of the moisturizers, as the doctor said, that can keep your skin moisturized. Because when the barrier is broken, the skin is dry.
Yeah.
So that's what you have been going through most of the time. And you just live positively. My number is 0722 50 50 42.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you so much for tuning in to Health and Wellness. My name is Zaitun Ali, and this has been a very informative episode. It will be uploaded on YouTube on the KTN Home. You can also find us on our social media handles at KTN Home, at Ali_Zaitun. Remember, we've been filming here at the Fairview Hotel, and this is courtesy of the Good Life Pharmacy. So stay tuned next week, same place, same